welcome into our latest episode of Well Read, Well Said. That's Megan.
Hey.
There, they weren't prepared for their debut right into the show.
Wake up.
Hello. Pay attention.
Hey. It is hard to believe that we started our book club 3 months ago. Well, it's been longer than that, but on streaming we started.
We're on the third book, right?
Yeah, we're on our fourth book.
We're on our fourth book.
Because we had
You told me we were on the third one.
I think I forgot it ends with us.
Yeah,
Okay.
it ends with us, and then Under the Banner, and then the last one,
I don't even know what this
Ugly,
one's called. I've been reading
and
it.
then A Darker Shade of Magic is our fourth one. So we're not done with our fourth one, so
No.
3, so both of you were technically right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go, Megan.
I'm in the middle.
We do want to ask you if you've joined our Facebook group yet. If you said no, then you should. We have 1,700 members in our group right now. We play games, we have polls that you can interact with, and some discussions on there as well. There's also some really cool things planned for the group coming up, so you'll want to check that out. We've got a lot of content written down up in our brains. So just search Well Read, Well Said, WTOL 11+ book club, and you can join that today. So we always do a trivia question on our show. So today's trivia question is the fantasy theme, okay? So what is the name of the continent where most of A Song of Fire and Ice, which is a book, takes place?
Oh gosh.
And so I'll tell you the book, A Song of Fire and Ice, is Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the question.
I should know this.
What continent does it take place on, okay?
Oh boy. Okay.
I forget. All right, moving on from the trivia question, we recently got sent a picture of one of our viewers, Dwight, who watches the show from Iowa.
That's
Go
not a very
Dwight.
flattering picture of me, but that's okay.
Megan, look at you go, girl. So we put it on Facebook.
Cool.
Yeah, to see where everyone else is tuning in from. We got some responses. We have Bailey. He said he's a Toledo native.
Another guy.
Yeah, tuning in
I'm
from
surprised.
Cleveland.
Are you guys surprised it's guys?
I am actually, but I
love it.
I think more guys are reading now. Yeah.
I love it.
So that's cool. Jim, right here, the third guy, said he's tuning in from Michigan, about a half hour north of Detroit. And then we have Lori Ann says she's tuning in from Bryan, Ohio, about an hour west of Toledo. So it's really cool that other people are watching us from further than just Toledo greater area.
Yeah. And I still am I can't get over 3
The guys?
Yeah, that's cool.
Does your husband read?
No.
No.
Not at all.
Does your husband? No, he games though, right?
He games while I read. Yes. Yeah.
Hey,
There
it's a
you go.
balance.
Yeah. It works out because
You
he
each
does
have
that.
your hobbies,
Yeah.
right?
He'll play games and I get to read.
But your kids both read. Well,
Ben loves reading. He's reading The Diary of a Wimpy Kid right now. He's reading the whole series. He's on like book
great.
7
That's
this
great.
summer. I know. I'm like, keep reading. It's good for you.
What about Rory?
Rory is reading challenged.
Okay.
He's a little behind. Well, no, seriously. Like, he is. So we are just trying to keep up so we don't slack for the summer. We read Pete the Cat last night.
Those are cute.
So he's reading books on his own. He's 10. He's a little behind. I loved reading. My mom used to just go to the library and go read her books, and I'd be in the kids area reading like Judy Blume and the Babysitter's Club and all that stuff for hours, and I loved it. But my bigger kids don't really like reading. Drew, who's the middle one, he does like some World War II books that like he was forced to read for school, but then he ends up liking them, and Harry Potter too.
Oh yeah.
Harry Potter was a good
I
series.
started
that
Harry Potter, but
So I always
Really?
say we're gonna go to London and see the Harry Potter stuff.
they
and
would
him.
love that, I'm sure.
They're just the ones who read the books. If
Yeah.
you want to go on the London trip, you
have
gotta
to
read all the books.
There
Good
you
idea.
go.
Okay.
Good job. Nice way to get them to read.
And there's Harry Potter World in Disney, right?
Universal.
Universal.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. I'd be like, you have to read all the books before I'll take you to the world. Because that was so cool. I was like a kid in a candy store in that world. I was like just nerded out. I got a wand. It was great.
There we go. Okay, so speaking of books, outside of our book club, we also read other books. So we want to talk a little bit about the latest books that we've read or are reading. And we'll put a disclaimer out there. I know myself and Megan are slower this year on our books than last year, but I have actually read a few books. Let's pop up our graphic that we have. So we'll start with Alexis on the book that you have recently finished.
Yeah, I finished it this past weekend, actually. But once I started reading it, I think I read it in like 3 days maybe, because I was really into it. It's the 5th in a series called the Windy City series. It's Liz Tomford, and been waiting for it to come out. And me and Caylee were talking about it. I think it was my favorite one of the whole series, and there's 5 of them. It was just such a cute story because they were like past friends, and it was just so cute.
And it ends the series.
And it ends the whole series, but then it like alludes to like another jumping off point. So I'm excited she's gonna write more of them because
Yeah.
they're really good, I thought.
Yeah, I
really
devoured
easy,
that one
like
in, like
300-400 page books.
And
that-
they're sports romances.
yeah.
sports romance.
Yeah.
Each book is a different
Oh, the ice
sport.
skating one, right?
No,
No,
this
this one's
one's
different.
like it's
It
hockey,
goes hockey, basketball,
baseball,
baseball, and then
hockey.
hockey again.
They all live in Chicago
and play for teams.
professional sport. It's good. They're cute.
It is good.
I love
and they're
it.
all different types of like genres
Different
within
tropes
Yeah,
of
tropes within
guys,
the romance
too.
genre.
Which
So
now you know what tropes and stuff are. So kind of.
Mel's still.
Do you know what a trope?
She's not on
I
board
don't
yet.
even know what this world building is that we're going to be talking about.
Oh,
either.
world building.
It reminds me of like
thing.
Minecraft or something.
It kind of is like
Yeah.
Minecraft. Okay,
Start
next
singing the songs now.
next book is Megan. You read Crazy Love, which I'm
Yes.
guessing is a romance as well.
It is. It is a small town romance, also a sports romance too. It's the last in a series, and it followed a football player who is trying to get custody of this foster kid, and he meets the team's dietitian. They get married, so that way he's more appealing to the judge to get custody of these kids. And it was really super cute. It was the last in this series, and I'm really kind of sad that it was over. Do you guys ever feel that way when you finish
Yeah,
a
with
series?
this one. That
Always.
we
Yeah,
just
this
finished.
last one, I was like, oh man.
I did with the gray, the
50 Shades.
50
Yeah.
Shades of Grey.
yeah.
You were sad about
Have
that.
you read the ones in Christian's perspective though? Because you can read them again
I
in
don't
his
think
perspective.
so.
They're all
I think,
out.
No.
They're out. Oh, I
They
might
have every
well,
single
my,
book in his
my list.
I haven't
is
read
so
it
what's
yet
that
either.
long
called?
to be added.
The
to
first one's
it.
called like Gray, and they go in like different things.
Just gray.
I think so.
Oh.
I kind of want to read it. I haven't read them yet either, but thinking about it.
Because he's Christian Grey, she was describing the 50 Shades of him, and he's just like, I already know who I am. I'm Grey.
It will be interesting. Like
think it'd be
after the
his
books
point
and
of
the
view.
movie,
Yeah.
seeing his.
There's
point
like
of
one
view.
chapter I think in every book in his point of view, or at least the last
okay.
one. From what I read it a long time ago.
Okay. I think the next one is mine. It is. This is The Summer for Us. That's what I'm reading.
That's an arc, right?
It's an arc. So it's not actually, it came out yesterday. I'm almost done
What's
with
that mean,
it.
Megan?
An
Advanced reader copy.
Oh, yes, we did go over
so
that.
I got it pre-released through one of the PR companies, and it's really good. It's also a small town.
I'm sensing a
We have a
Here.
trend of what we read when we pick.
You guys are
small
like
town like romancy one.
like the Lifetime movies. You guys probably love a good
actually
Lifetime
hate
movie.
them.
I
I also like the
don't
Hallmark
like
movies too.
small town romance is like my least favorite ones to read.
I like the weird stuff.
the weird stuff.
like the kinky stuff. You like the kinky stuff?
No.
What do you mean the weird stuff?
Tropes.
No, I just don't like small.
Listen, this is a PG show here.
Is it? I don't know. We're
I
on.
Some of the stuff you guys get me to read, I'm like, what is happening?
I don't think I've had you read a crazy book.
But what do you mean you like the weird stuff?
I like a dark romance compared to a small town
Like
romance.
a dark.
A dark
So, like-
romance makes me think of like 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes.
A little bit,
Yeah,
yeah.
like more psychological-y.
But yeah, more psychologically, I like one of the ones I read. The guy was like he killed people.
Yeah, see, it's like a serial killer who like
She was in love with him.
Yeah. Like I don't want that for me, but like
like I'm
to
gonna
read
kill
about
you, but I
people.
also love
Right.
you.
I'm okay reading about you being in love with a serial killer. as
yeah,
long as I'm
exactly.
not.
But like Listen,
get it.
small town
Yeah.
romance
He's
is
like, I
just
get
like small town romance.
Too
like-
sugary sweet sometimes for you, right?
Exactly.
I love it.
100%.
Okay, let's
Makes
get to
me
your book.
happy.
Like, what's that show on Netflix that I watch?
You?
Virgin River,
Oh,
and
it's
I
all-
watch it, and I'm like, why am I watching this?
But you watched 4 seasons
I
of it.
watched it all.
But
and I'm
you know
like,
what? Everyone devoured you.
That's true, and that's a
Thank you.
psychological.
What's that?
You on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. I do like that
Thank
one.
That
you.
would be
Those
that
are
would
the
be a
types
dark
of books
romance
I
type
like
of
to
thing.
read.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is a book.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's a
have
whole
that.
series.
He was a serial killer. Sorry for any spoilers if you haven't seen You.
If you haven't, I don't know where you've been.
I don't know.
If you haven't seen You, it's your problem
Yeah.
at this point. I mean, it's
Way
been out for
behind.
many years.
Okay, what book have you read, Melissa?
So remember one of the last episodes? Oh,
She's
I
reaching.
saw this book
On
in the
the
pile
table.
right here,
Uh-huh.
and I read it in a few days. And what was it about? Oh, this weird girl at work.
Okay.
She was odd. She was like obsessed with turtles and stuff
Oh.
all over the place, and all she wanted to talk about was these turtles. So people didn't really like her. She was kind of like a goody two shoes and stuff like that. And then she disappears, and then this other girl goes to find her and finds something in the house, and then she gets blamed for the girl's death, but then there's a big twist.
Okay.
So I did like this book. It's The Coworker by Frida McFadden.
How long did it take you?
I picked it up and put it down. I think I'm maybe busier this time of year, and you can't, unlike a soccer game, when my daughter plays soccer, you get like 30 minutes in the middle. Baseball, we're in baseball season,
Yeah,
so I
that
can't
doesn't
pick up the book during baseball
Seventh
games.
inning stretch. That's it.
But we don't have that. But this was a good one. I liked this one.
Hers are generally pretty good. And
Frida
easy.
McFadden, I found something out about her last week. She's
What?
actually a brain surgeon.
What?
That's her day job.
What?
Yes. Her day job, and then she writes.
How does she crank she cranks these out
I mean,
real
she
fast.
works on brains. Think of all the things that she can
that's
think
in there.
about.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm
So
impressed.
That's something really
Very.
interesting.
Yeah.
I can't do anything outside of this job.
Right. Some
Thank
people are
you.
just so talented.
I know.
I'm not.
I know. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to go to a break real quick. When we come back, we're going to talk about the reason why I was gone for our last episode.
We missed you.
Oh, thanks.
It's nothing serious.
She's okay.
Yeah, it's
It
nothing
sounds like
crazy.
She was gallivanting off.
Serious, but
It's a lot of fun, and it actually kind of has to do with books. Our books, yeah.
Very
So
cool.
we'll be right back after this break. All right, so while I was gone, I was in Iceland. Ooh, right?
Just a quick trip to
It
Iceland.
is a quick, okay, it's a
Which I
quick
didn't-
trip.
it
and I've
is
been
quicker
telling
than
you
She
with
told me that,
everyone.
and I was like,
It's only a
what?
5-hour
Yeah,
I know, I didn't believe
5-hour
it.
flight, non-stop from Detroit.
Which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
and it's not that expensive
No, it
either.
was
like
$500 round trip.
And you went with your
Round trip.
family, right?
I went with my mom, my sister, and my mom's best friend. So it was 4 of us, and we decided to be pretty bold, and we traveled around the whole country because Iceland is an island. So we did the whole country in 8 days. We stopped like 5 places and stayed the night. And it was really cool. It was really fun. And I took a lot of pictures. And one of the things that I thought was really interesting is that Iceland is where
at you.
a lot of Game of Thrones was filmed. So those 2 pictures, the first ones, We're on the glacier, so we did a glacier hike. This is in the national park. That's where the tectonic plates are. So that's the glacier. That's what it looks like, literally standing on the glacier.
That's really cool.
And then that's me in between with my like spikes on my feet. That's the national park. So this is one of like the famous scenes.
It looks very Games of Thrones.
It is very Games of Thrones. And these are actually two tectonic plates. So the European and the Asian tectonic plate.
I think when you showed me that one, that's the one I recognize.
This is the mountain that's in Game of Thrones. There's also the Black Sand Beach right there.
Yeah,
yep. So that's one of the famous scenes. And then there's the canyon that we were at. And that is where Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen first rode their dragons together.
Oh.
Khaleesi.
There you go. Look at you.
No. I only know that because of what's been going on with Blake Lively and Taylor Swift and Justin Bell.
What does that have to do with
Because she says,
Oh, she called somebody
Taylor
that.
Swift is my dragon. And who's the other guy? Oh, her husband, Ryan Reynolds. So people on TikTok start calling her Khaleesi. That's all I know about that.
Okay.
Yeah, Khaleesi means queen in
One of their languages.
So people call her Khaleesi.
Yeah, that's what it means.
That's all I know. I don't know anything else about Game of Thrones.
Well, so if you go to Iceland, Melissa, I know you
Which
thought
was
about
on
maybe
my.
taking
I know
a
I
trip.
wanted to do it forever since we had the total solar eclipse.
Oh, and they were.
I found out the next one is going to be in Iceland in 2026, but Iceland and Spain. So maybe you should do Spain.
Oh, maybe I'll go.
But anyway,
you'll do Iceland?
the totality in Iceland is only 1 minute, and it's the time of the year you can't see the northern lights. So I was like,
it's in the
I don't
summer.
know.
You
if
know,
that's a good time
I
to go.
didn't have the northern lights. They have the midnight sun, so it's bright 24 hours. The
so
sun never set. It just gets kind of like gray from like 11 to 4 a.m. It's gray, but you still see everything.
That's so weird.
And then it gets bright again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go to our trivia question again. So this trivia question today is, what is the name of the content where most of a Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, takes place? The name
what
of the continent.
is Iceland? It's not one, right?
Well, this is a fantasy book, so there's a different
It's-
name.
Yeah, it's not actually like our continent.
Like in the books and in
were
the TV
thinking
series.
Europe.
So it's not one of the 7 continents. I wouldn't even know.
No. Yeah, it's a made up name.
Oh, well, then I don't know because I
now
never
I'm
watched
trying to
the-
think
read
about
the
I
book.
should know this, and
You guys are
it's
gonna be upset when you
gone
don't
right out of
know
my
this.
brain.
The map, the beginning is like a map, and I can
Yeah.
like see it, but now I don't. I have no idea what
Whatever it is, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah.
You need to make these easier with multiple choice. While you were gone, I made it multiple choice.
Hey, we do have multiple choice later today. It's
really gonna bother me that I don't know
Okay, the other one I was gonna do was too easy. Our director was like, no, they're gonna know that.
I would have known it.
Yeah. What was
the
the
other one?
question?
One was Harry Potter.
Okay, I might know that, but
And
that's
then-
also, it's kind of hard to understand.
Harry Potter?
A little bit.
How far you got in this book?
No, Harry Potter.
I know,
is-
but this is like
Way
more magic-y
Yeah.
than Harry Potter. It's
And
kind of easy.
more world building.
I don't even know what to say.
Okay, so Megan, do you want to pick this up?
Sure. While Caylee was gone, we discussed our last book, Beautiful Ugly, and we picked a new one, which is a fantasy, and it is called A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. Kel is one of the last Antari magicians with a rare, coveted ability to travel between parallel Londons, red, gray, white, and once upon a time, black. Kel was raised in Arnis, Red London, and officially serves the Maresh Empire as an ambassador, traveling between the frequent bloody regime changes in White London and the court of George III in the dullest of Londons, the one without any magic left to see. Unofficially, Kel is a smuggler, servicing people willing to pay for even the smallest glimpses of a world they'll never see. It's a defiant hobby with dangerous consequences, which Kel is now seeing firsthand. After an exchange goes awry, Kel escapes to Grey London and runs into Delilah Bard, a cut purse with lofty aspirations. She first robs him, then
really
saves
long.
him from a deadly enemy,
That's the book.
and finally forces Kel to spirit her to another world for a proper adventure.
This is really long, Megan.
We're on the last sentence.
Okay.
Now perilous magic is afoot, and treachery lurks at every turn. To save all of the worlds, they'll first need to stay alive. Dun dun dun.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's the whole book.
It sounds like it.
You did get me with the fact that I've read Harry Potter and that's like a magic book.
Yeah.
But it's like obvious magic because they have wands and stuff.
Right. This is like
This, I'm
whole
thinking
thing.
of this man as a little elf with a cloak.
he does have a coat.
does have
He does. Has different colors. I know
It
that.
does,
And then
it
he
does.
makes himself bleed.
That's
puts
how he
it
does
on
the
the
magic.
wall
It's
to
blood
get to the other
magic, yeah.
world. And I haven't. That's as far as I gotten, pretty much.
Okay, so let's talk about how far we are.
'Kay.
Mel, you're only
I'm
a few chapters
I
in.
think I'm like 5% on my Kindle. It says.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the book is free for Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah, it
Which
is.
is
It's on
nice.
Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
I'm only about, I think I'm 5 chapters in. They're short chapters. Big fan of the
And
short
you had a goal of
chapters.
reading 100 pages this weekend. It looks like you got there.
I did. I'm almost 130 pages in.
Okay,
I'm
and
like
you got
I'm
some
a
tabs.
chapter ahead of her because I was on 4 and she's
I just don't I don't know.
It's
Well,
a lot.
I think it's
I
too
will say
early.
that.
I think it's
What's
too
the
early.
world
going.
building? I don't even know what that is.
Well, the
I mean, there's
London.
4 different
parallel
Londons. It's a
Londons.
totally different world than you're used to. So it's
Okay, so
Explain
I
that.
thought about it last night. I don't know where it was, but it was a movie. I think it was called Travelers or something like that, where they could walk through the doors and get to different places.
It's kinda like
That's similar to how this is
but
in
only
my
certain
mind.
people can do it. Like
Yes.
him and
Antarctica.
Holland. Holland is
Yeah.
Is this what you were reading? on
Holland
the
is
back?
bound to
But
other
so
kingdoms.
what I understand is you can't just like enter one door. Like the door has to go to a specific
marked
spot
set
in,
place. Yeah.
in the other
Yeah.
London.
Has to
And
have
it
the same
has to
mark.
be with your blood.
Yeah.
That's the only way these people can travel through.
And the symbols have to be perfect.
Yes.
That's all I've
or
got.
like
Yeah, that's
at
what
the
I
same
got.
at the same place.
I think we need to do like a cheat sheet to keep all of this stuff, keep track
And she's
of all
further
of this
along
stuff.
than we are, so that means it's about to get more complicated for the rest of us.
Yes.
Yeah. There's
But
hasn't been any-
well, it's funny because the person that I'm most interested in learning more about, not that Kel isn't interesting, is the girl, Delilah.
she's like a pirate.
Yes, and she's a thief.
A cut purse. A
Yes.
cut purse.
She's a thief.
Thief.
Yeah.
What London is she in?
Gray London.
Gray.
Yes.
Oh, so she has no magic.
Right.
Correct.
She just
Okay.
steals-
But she
what?
wants adventure.
Gray has no magic. So it's based, the colors are based on like the amount of magic. So black is now dead because all of the people had magic and they sucked
used-
it out,
they used
right?
Too much
That's
of
what I
it.
understand.
Yeah, they kind of got like too.
So there's no magic in black.
no magic in black.
And
Gray
black is like
used-
destroyed.
yeah,
Yes.
well, there is no black.
Gray,
there was a black. No more black.
well, all of them used to have magic, but they shut the door to Gray, so now Gray doesn't have magic.
So
And
it's like
then-
regular London.
Yes,
Correct.
regular London, and then red is I don't know yet how much magic red
red
has,
would be like
and then
red
white
would be red and then white and then gray and black. I would
Yeah,
say.
okay.
Yeah. Because he's mostly in red.
Yes.
And then white has Holland.
Bloody,
He's found there.
frequent bloody regime changes in White London.
Yes.
Right.
And the court of George III. Isn't he the guy that's senile?
Yeah,
Yes.
that's Gray London.
Oh, that's Gray London. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be like the normal.
But see, you're picking things up. You knew which London the George III belongs
White
to.
London has these like these crazy twin like leaders,
Yes.
which they're intriguing.
Ooh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That reminds me of
Gotta
Game
read
of Thrones
further.
actually. a little
Yeah.
bit. They're kind
The
of
twin.
This is very
Yeah, with how
complicated.
like blonde they are and fair.
They're like fading, so once they're mad, they start
Oh,
to
like
fade.
albino.
Yeah. Yes. But
They like start to dull out or something. I just
and
got to
they
that
use
part.
like a warped kind of dark.
They do, yeah, they
magic.
scar themselves.
Yes.
And to keep their magic, they keep. So people in this white London,
How
you
much
walk
have
around
you read?
about the same as her.
Wow.
When you walk around white London, people
We're
are like
slow.
scarred up. Yeah.
This is reminding me of.
It's interesting.
What's
It
the
is.
one with? The Hunger Games a little bit.
How so?
There's no magic in Hunger Games.
Well, just the way you described it was there's
With the
different-
hierarchy and
There's
stuff.
the
Yes.
different
Okay.
The
places,
I can see that.
districts.
districts.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
I can see
That
that.
had world building there.
I'm
too.
trying to think that I
I think if we
have more
create
experience with
the
this
cheat
fantasy
sheet,
than.
you'll
Yeah.
kind of pick up things more.
And this
we
is
could
one of
probably
3
ask
books.
ChatGPT to do it, honestly, get it done in 5 minutes.
True.
We could.
We could.
We could. Okay, so we put a poll in our Facebook group to see who's going to join in with us and read A Darker Shade of Magic. Here is what some of you had to say. 51% said yes, I love fantasy. 27 said no, not my jam, and 22 said maybe.
I accidentally said maybe.
You did.
You're reading it.
Because she was like, "You're reading it. What do you mean?"
You have to.
I guess she did it. If she
answered-
wasn't forced to, maybe she would read
Yes,
it.
I read it as like, "Do you want to read a fantasy book?" And I was like, "Maybe." But I'm like, "But I have to." So
You have to.
You have read fantasy books.
I have.
You've read A Court of
They're
Thorns
usually
and Roses.
romantic-y though, so I'm
Yes.
hoping this pirate girl and Kel
That's why
start to
you're
like each other
interested?
or something.
Well, they
Okay.
got to meet first.
Give me
so
something.
We'll get to that part.
How do you envision Kel?
He's
Tall, lanky,
red
red
hair.
hair with swoop, and it's always in
And
his
a different
face.
yes,
color
because
eye
that
is a
covers
black
the
eye.
black eye.
Oh yeah, he does.
That's
have
That's
two
how you
different
can
color
tell
eyes.
he's an Antari, and there's him and the other guy. They both have that real
Colin.
dark black eye. And
And
then
he doesn't like that.
his other eye's blue, and the other guy's is green, or the opposite. I
Yes,
don't
green,
remember.
I think.
His is blue.
Holland.
Yeah, and
With
But he
a
seems like a
black
good
eye.
guy, right?
so far. But he is like tricking, he's duping people to like make money or something. Because his brother, it's not actually his brother, is always telling him to stop doing what he's doing because he knows he's gonna end up getting in trouble. Because he makes these trades with people.
Yeah.
Well, what's
And
his
that's gonna get him in
purpose
trouble.
though? Delivering messages, right, to
Yes,
each
but to
other.
different-
Because he's the only,
Londons.
him and Holland are the only ones who can travel between the worlds, or the Londons. So he's kind of like been
It's a lot.
captured by this king that he works for, technically.
Okay.
So those are our initial thoughts.
Yeah, I like it. I'm just.
I
yeah,
think I'll like it.
It's
It'll
just
take you a little bit
of out of my
time to get into it, I think.
For fantasy, it does take people time.
Give
for
it a-
sure, to
give it a good
understand
chunk.
like a world building and
Until they get
to-
into like a dramatic situation, then you're like, ooh, what's gonna happen next?
Yeah. Okay, so we want to talk about some of the books that are recommended to read in July. This is through Goodreads. So we're going to talk about some mysteries and thrillers that Goodreads has recommended. So first up is called Not Quite Dead Yet. This is written by a woman who wrote A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, which is now on Netflix. It's a twisty thriller about a young woman trying to solve her own murder.
Now, how does that work?
I don't know.
Like a ghost or something?
In 7 days, Jet Mason will be dead. She's from one of the wealthiest families in Vermont, but on Halloween, she's violently attacked by an unseen stranger and suffers a catastrophic head injury. The doctor thinks the injury will trigger a deadly aneurysm, and now she's determined to find out who killed her before her time is up.
That's interesting.
I feel like that would be up your alley. You would enjoy that.
That
now.
reminds me of the Lovely Bones a little bit, right?
A little bit. Yeah, where the ghost is like telling the sister to
story.
find her.
Yeah.
I read that book.
That
and I
forever
watched
ago.
the movie.
Isn't the movie like completely different though?
It
That's
is.
something else.
I liked both, actually.
Surprisingly, you guys are going to be surprised. Like, I had to stop reading that book. I don't like to read or consume anything involving like children.
Yeah,
I
that one
can't-
was
I
hard.
can't.
That one was tough. I haven't read that
As much
one.
as I like a good, crime or murder, like I can't with the kids stuff.
Because she was young.
That and
Yeah.
like
in
My
that
Sister's
book.
Keeper, I had to quit reading.
Oh, that one was sad.
That's too dark for me.
That was sad.
Okay, next up is She Didn't See It Coming. The description is when a beloved wife and mother disappears, a luxurious condo building transforms into a potential crime scene, and the investigation begins. Can detectives find her body before it's too late?
But find her, so she's still alive, maybe.
Maybe.
I've read books by this woman.
Sherry Lapina?
Yeah, I
Is she a
recognize
good
her name.
author?
Yeah, I've liked her books. I couldn't tell you what they were, but I remember
This
liking
is
them.
why you need to get a Goodreads.
The Couple Next Door. That's what she wrote, The Couple Next Door.
Oh.
I think maybe I read
seen
that one.
Yeah. Okay, and then our last one from Goodreads is The Woman in Suite 11. This is a follow-up to The Women in Cabin 10. Lo Blacklock, the character, returns to attend the opening of a luxury hotel only to find herself in a white-knuckled race across Europe. when the invitation to attend the press opening of a luxury Swiss hotel owned by a reclusive billionaire. It's like the answer to a prayer. She hopes to reestablish her journalism career with an interview with that billionaire, but it's harder than it looks. Lowe gets a late night call asking her to come to his hotel, and she's greeted by someone claiming to be his mistress. What follows is a thrilling cat and mouse pursuit across Europe.
Ruth Ware is a popular author too. People like her books.
Have you read any of her books?
I don't know, Megan. I don't have a Goodreads.
She doesn't have the list.
I probably.
Once she sees the cover, she's like, oh yeah, I read that.
It may take more than seeing the cover. It may
First
take a
couple
few chapters.
And then, you know, there's a few times that I've done that. I'm like, have I read this? Or is it just kind of the same?
Really familiar.
And then you got a
storyline?
Goodreads, and you could look it up and see if you had read it.
You're right. And then I got a Goodreads, and I just kept adding books to my list.
TBR is very long.
I should probably stop with the Goodreads and the books.
I always
to the
say
list.
that when I die, I hope I come back as a ghost so I can finish my TBR.
Just read.
Just
Wow.
I
What are we
won't
gonna
finish
put on
my
your
list.
headstone?
She loves to read.
Like books and stuff.
Yep.
You're gonna have to give us your favorite titles. This is a.
I think that's why a lot of people like listen and I read and like they do all of it so they can get through more books.
Yeah, that's what I
can see
do.
that, yeah.
I saw a thing on Instagram the other day about a girl that was like, I read certain genres in certain ways. And I was like, what do you mean? She does her like mystery through audio, and she likes to I read her romance, and then she does her like ebooks with some different. I was like, that's too much work.
That is a lot.
I feel more accomplished not listening to the books, though. It's more work than listening.
Yeah,
to
you
them.
used your eye, you stretched your eye muscles.
You can't multitask. You can't multitask.
She's
It's so nice to listen to a book while you're folding laundry, though, because it's just like you're
Yes, or out
Annoying-
for a
something
walk.
I gotta
annoying
get my
you do.
attention issue
you're just folding
under.
laundry though. Like it's
I gotta get that
easy.
under control before I can listen to a book.
It's hard for me. I like listening to certain
My
books.
mind
it's
just
hard for me
wanders.
to. That's how I
That's
am.
why you gotta,
That's
like-
why I listen to a podcast.
I could listen to a podcast when there's conversation happening, but if it's just one person talking,
Usually there's like a dialogue though.
So now,
I feel like you would like then when they do duet narration where the woman does her part and the male does his part instead of just like one narrator
Doing
doing
different voices.
all of because it's very awkward to listen to a woman go real deep like this and pretend to be
Yeah.
some people
Yes,
do.
and then you have the man and then you have the man go real high like this to be like a girl.
Yeah, some people do.
It's not as bad as she's making it sound, but they do that, yeah.
you are
That's
not
why
tuning me
romance
onto
ones
this.
get kinda
And I'm
weird.
in the car a lot. I could really benefit from a
Yeah.
audiobook.
It Ends With Us is just a single narrator,
Yes.
and
True.
she is doing both voices, and I
don't
got
think I
lost.
could like
I got
that.
lost in the sauce a few times.
Lost in
Wouldn't
the
you just start laughing?
Yeah, I got
not
distracted.
that bad.
And then I had to be like, oh wait, what happened in this chapter? So
That is cuckoo.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to be able to stay awake and read. That's my problem.
okay, we can talk about this forever. We've got to move on. So we are going to a break. We'll be right back in just a minute. Welcome back into Well Read, Well Said. We're going to get to our trivia question answer. Did you just remember it?
Oh,
I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
What is the name of the continent where most of A Song
Yeah,
of
that-
Fire and Ice
that
takes
checks
place,
out.
which is Game of Thrones?
Megan,
and
what's the answer?
Westeros.
There
It
you
just,
go.
The light bulb went on.
Because you
answer is
saw it in the
Westeros.
prompter.
No, I didn't even look at the prompter.
Yeah, you did.
Megan.
I did not cheat.
Because when I looked at it, I was like,
in
oh.
the
not
prompter.
It was in the prompter. I have to put it in the prompter so that it's
Wait,
there.
how did you say a light bulb went off when the word was right in
That's
front
the
of
light
you?
bulb.
But I wasn't. I was
She wasn't looking.
at the screen, not the prompter.
Well, it's Westeros. Megan maybe or maybe didn't cheat. We don't know. She won't. Actually, she might be able to cheat on this game too. Actually, no, there's no answers on the prompter.
Okay, good.
We are doing a game called Guess the Prophecy because we're reading fantasy. So, the first one. So actually, I'll explain
what are we
it.
do- okay,
so
yeah.
guess the
I already know this
There's a line in all of these fantasy books. I made it multiple choice. Okay, so you're going to be able to choose between the 3 books.
Yay.
And you have to guess which book the line comes from about certain prophecies. Okay? Okay, so the first
I'm
one.
not going to do well at
You're
this.
First
gonna
one,
do
I'm
great.
just lobbing it to you. Neither can live while the other survives. So the books are The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, or Shadow and Bone.
It's Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
actually
That
did
is
know
the
that one.
answer. Woo! Megan and Alexis got 1. Megan's gonna get this next one too.
Okay.
She is fire and light and ashen embers. So this one, we have Throne of Glass, Fourth Wing, or Shadow and Bone.
It's Throne of Glass.
Megan, let people answer. I gave
I have
gave
no
them
answer.
multiple choice.
I have
so
no
we
answer.
Can choose.
I know it though.
I don't know if I've
Okay,
ever read
I'll
a
shut up.
fantasy book.
Okay, a comet in the sky is the harbinger of fire and blood. So we have Aragon, the Priory of the Orange Tree, or A Song of Fire and Ice.
I think
which
I
is
know
Game
what
of
it is,
Thrones.
but I'll shut up.
Okay, so
Give
A,
it,
B, or
Megan.
C?
I'm going to go Game of Thrones just because
I'm gonna go
we were
C.
talking about Game of Thrones.
I've never
Game of
read the
Thrones.
book.
You
I'm
can
going
guess.
with
I did
whatever.
multiple
There you go.
choice.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
The child of 2 powerful bloodlines will choose the fate of the realm from Fourth Wing, A Court of Thorns and Roses, or An Ember in the Ashes.
Okay.
Is that Fourth Wing?
I know it's not B.
I'm going to guess Fourth Wing.
I'm gonna go C. An Ember in the Ashes.
What is that?
You should have gone with
Fourth
B.
Wing.
Ooh.
It's A Court
You
of
didn't
Thorns
know
and
that?
Roses.
Oh,
She's read these books several times.
Your punishment is you have to read it again.
That's not
Well,
a
okay,
punishment,
technically it's not in A Court of Thorns and Roses, but it's in that series.
oh.
It's later in the books because
That's
it's
just
about
Chinese.
That's why I didn't know.
and Nesta.
I was like, I don't know what's
I have
happening.
no idea what you guys are talking
okay.
about.
That's a good
It's a
series.
good series.
Yeah.
That's romantic-y for sure.
And
Yeah.
they have the boom booms in that one.
Lots of boom booms.
Melissa would like that one.
Yeah.
But it's world building. Okay, next one. The Darkling is the bringer of shadows, but the Sun Summoner is the only one who can face him. From A, An Ember in the Ashes, B, Shadow and Bone, or C, Children of Blood and Bone.
I don't know this
know
one
any
because
of
I've
them.
never read either of them, but I'm gonna guess A. An Ember in the Ashes.
Okay. I don't know what one this is because I haven't read them either. Oh,
Oh.
Shadow and Bone, so that's B.
Okay.
By Lee Bardugo. Okay, last one. One will come to vanquish the darkness, born of no father. This one, the name of the wind, the mortal instruments, or Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
C.
I think
Don't look at
B.
me.
I just
This
guessed.
is like Chinese. I don't know.
It's B.
Oh.
Oh, I
okay.
was
Mortal
right.
Instruments.
I've read this.
I've
but
seen
it's
the movie of Mortal Instruments.
It's been a very long time since
I
I've
think I
read it.
have seen the movie too.
The movie was
The books
good.
are better. Just saying.
They're always better.
Yeah,
I
usually.
feel like I'm lost in a world that is not yet built.
You're lost in the
not yet built.
Londons.
I don't know what's
She
happening.
needs a map.
In
she needs
all
a map.
the Londons. We're gonna make her a map. We'll make everyone a map, and
Yeah.
then we'll post
We'll
it
figure it
on
out.
our Facebook page.
Yes.
Because we're
There's,
we're
like,
probably gonna need a map to be
lines
able
and
to get
everything.
through things.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode. Stay tuned for our next one where we will finally dive into the discussion and give our thoughts on A Darker Shade
I'm
of
gonna
Magic.
get through it.
You will. That will be at the end of the month. So you have most of the month to get through it.
Get the reading.
Listen, it's good so far. I just don't. I'm
Gotta
not
get
used
into
to
it.
But that's probably the point of the book club, right?
Yeah,
it is.
Just branch out.
Expand into the world building.
Yeah.
thing.
And the characters.
And you're gonna read a lot of murder in this book club, so that's not necessarily your thing.
Nope. I will say, I picked up a mystery book that has no romance in it voluntarily.
This one.
I'm still hoping it's in there
Be
somewhere.
proud of me that I picked up this mystery book that has no romance in
What's
it.
it called?
It's the
A
Leah
Darker
Nash.
Shade of Magic.
No, it's the Leah Nash Mysteries. It's number 7. I think it's Dangerous Pursuits.
Is it a true story?
Okay.
No.
Guys, we got to go.
Okay, we do.
Tell them bye.
Bye, guys.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Do-da-da-da-do.